Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Citizen Feed. Another week, another episode, a podcast or YouTube video actually about all things Star Citizen by three players that love Star Citizen and all the bells and whistles around the project. This week we've got a special guest as well, but I'll hand over to. Actually, I'll introduce our hosts. We've got Delta X85 from the US over there. We've got the man from Stanton, Ace36, and I'm Mozsta69 from Sydney, Australia, guys, as per usual. But as you can already see, we've got a little special guest that's come and join us, but I'll let Delta introduce him. Over to you, Delta.
Going on, citizens. This week we have a special guest, and actually, it's the first guest appearance we've ever had. Congratulations, HATER115 from Star Citizen Leaks. We appreciate you joining us. So, we're gonna just discuss some things with HATER and figure out who he is. For those of you guys that don't know who he is, you will know when we're done. So, HATER, how's it going over at Star Citizen Leaks?
Well, if you've noticed, if you are a follower of Star Citizen Leaks coming over and checking out this podcast, you probably noticed we've been dead for a hot minute, other than some dreadful Q&A, which I hope to be doing better this time around. But yeah, it's been a little quiet lately. Yeah, there's some things. I mean, things are going on in the background, but nothing really. That's nothing I can really talk about. I'm Yeah, but
Uh,
just in general though, I've been doing fine. I've been playing a lot of Star Citizen, which is weird, but yeah, fine.
Okay. Can you give us a quick rundown on your history with Star Citizen Leaks and how you got into that? Because from what I'm seeing is you actually can be a controversial figure in the Star Citizen community.
Well, when I was a wee old lad of 15, I decided, hey, I want to have Star Citizen leaks, and I decided I'm gonna message some people. Was looking into basically started originally as just a way to get some of the 2015 leaks because I wanted a copy of it because maybe I could find something no one else has seen before. I accidentally got into an old email server. We're gonna ignore that. But when 3.0 finally came around, or not 3.0, 2.6 came around because it was around this time, I decided to have some Reddit threads. Those were decently popular. So I made a second Reddit thread for like 2.6.3, I think was the last patch before the big drought. And when 3.0 finally came along, I created a little Discord channel, the original Discord channel. And that exploded. So obviously there's interest for things of a leaky variety. Going off that, well, first I left that one after a huge bit of controversy I don't want to get into. Then you can find that more in some in this sock video if you're curious about that. Um, then about 3.1, 3.2 came back and made today's Star Citizen Leaks, which is just a place where we get together some leaks. And about last year, like June, we started a YouTube channel and doing more internal stuff. So you could say that's the beginning of like a bit of like a resurgence or non-Evo stuff. And that's why I really like to say, oh, that's where Star Citizen Leaks really began. Because of
You
actual effort instead of some sort of sideline thing I've been doing for like 5 years.
gotcha. You guys have actually a pretty decent amount of subscribers. You're over 10,000 now.
Yeah, I'm definitely serving them well by not posting a video for 2 months since we've hit that number. But
So did you
yeah,
actually get your plaque for hitting 10,000?
the plaque's for 100,000, though I
Oh,
did get like a figuratory plaque once I hit 10,000, and also the ability to do a bunch of fun YouTube stuff that I don't want to do because it's all very much, oh, give me money in different ways, please, like
oh yeah.
merch and
Yeah.
whatnot. But I don't really have any marketable logos. Oh, there are some people who really want those mugs on my Patreon. I don't get
Yeah,
why.
I like the Leaks logo. It's simple but effective.
Oh yeah, I made that in like I made it in like 3 hours when I was just fucking around in Photoshop for a bit. Yeah, like truly my greatest work. I've never been able to make something as pleasing to the eye. I wish I could.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass it on to Moz and let him ask you some questions,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like
we'll
a, it's
touch
like
base.
it's like an interrogation, Hater. So Hater, I'm kind of new compared to everyone else to Star Citizen in the sense that I've only been here since I think 3.0. So first of all, I just want to thank you for leaks. It's somewhere I go a lot to get information. I know you guys have, kind of put it on pause for whatever reason. So, yeah, thank to you and whoever else kind of constructed that Discord and provides all the leaks. I think Aria and, Execute and all these guys, or whoever else is involved, do a big service to the community. Second of all, mate, I got to give you some respect, man. Like, I can count on, I'm not really emotional about this controversy and all that stuff, right? Like, I know, like the 400i thing and all that hoo-ha that
Oh yeah.
that you did a recent video on. But I have to say, Hater, I can count on my finger how many people in my life have done something and then come back and acknowledge that they've kind of made a mistake. And you're now one of those people on my fingers. So, I give you a lot of respect for doing that video recently. And yeah, it's, yeah.
Just give him props for eating a fucking sock.
And you ate
Oh
a
yeah.
sock. That's right.
Yeah. I did a lot of that off screen, but a lot of people should be thankful I cut out 30 minutes of me choking. So, yeah, I really try to make that as possible to watch for people who are a little adverse to that kind of
Yeah.
eating sounds and noises. But I had a witness. You can ask them, but I'm not gonna try and like my leaks. I'm not gonna try and argue whether or not they're valid or existent.
So the sock wasn't edible, was it?
Oh no, of course no, of
No.
course it wasn't edible. I think that was like I think that comes from like Execute. When I said looking for an edible sock at the beginning, that wasn't confirming the sock was edible. That was just me talking about why that sock was chosen. Is because there was a little
Plant
April
fibers.
Fool's joke that the sock was edible,
Yeah.
and that they wanted people to eat their own socks and find out that they weren't edible. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Biggest kind of should have phrased that a little better because then there's some people who are just like, "Oh, that sock was edible." No, it was
Yeah.
very much not edible. Don't eat socks, kids.
No, I'm glad you're alive, man.
But if you be a man of your word, and if
Yeah.
you say something's gonna happen, and you'll eat a sock, you eat that
I
sock.
respect that. I absolutely
Yeah.
respect
Was
it.
was it cotton at least, and not like some plastic stuff?
Yeah, it was a cotton sock. I think it did have
Okay,
some like polyurethane or whatever the hell, but like not enough. It was a premium luxury sock. London Sock
Okay.
Cafe. I'll one day be sponsored by them, and it'll be great.
So Hayden, man, like you've got a big commitment to, Star Citizen, right? That you run the Discord, you love the game, you live and breathe the game. Is this like the first such project, or has there been any other game that you've like fallen in love with and given so much energy to before Star Citizen, or even now during Star Citizen?
In terms of like, I mean, you see, this is very hard to say because like I started when I was 15. It's like there's not really, I don't really have the years to say I had the ability to give my life away to a game such as Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm like one of the only people who could say, yeah, I've given like one actual fourth of my life to this game.
Yeah.
I don't like, I'm not always searching for stuff. Like when I'm quiet on Discord, that usually means I am just actually doing other things, and I do other things all the time. I'm never 100% focused on Star Citizen or Star Citizen Leaks. Like it's something, it's a hobby. I don't really, in terms of like an average week, I'm probably only given like an hour a day at max.
Yeah.
Unless like I'm doing an actual video, in which case I'll give us like I like to go straight in with those, like do as much time as needed until it's out. But in terms of actively in the game, not playing it, like just studying or doing Star Citizen Leaks exclusive stuff, it's a very healthy balance. I've not signed my life away to Chris Roberts, nor have I
Gotcha.
signed much of my wallet away.
Yeah. Yeah. And I forget how young you are as well. Hater. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So like besides Star Citizen, man, do you play any other games or do you have any?
Yeah. I
What?
play a lot of different games. Well, personally, right now is a bit of a hard thing to say because right now I've been playing a lot of Star Citizen
Yep.
because of Xenothreat 2. But and in terms of other games, I've been playing a lot of I play some League of Legends, some Rainbow, Siege, a couple other like shooter games with like actual real life friends. Um, and then I've been doing a lot of VR. VR has been a huge bit of my life ever since I got into that. I
Yep.
love like the concept of it. I even like went to school in computer science just so I can develop a VR game one day because I love the idea of how it works. Like that is if there's a passion I have more than Star Citizen, it's just the entire idea of VR.
Oh, nice.
Such a
Can
such a
you
lovely thing.
can you tolerate it, man? Like I was, I'm 46 years old, man. I'll tell you my VR story. I've been dying for VR since I was a little kid. There was a movie, I forgot the name of it. Back in the 80s that I think they had like VR headsets on at the time. So me and my brother dying for VR, and when PlayStation came out with its VR headset, like a little boy in a chocolate store, I ran home, put it on, and I know it was the first sort of iteration of VR headset, so the resolution's low and the frame rate's low and all that stuff. Put it on, been waiting for decades for this moment, and yes, it was absolutely immersive and it blew my mind away. But then after 20 minutes, I was in a fetal position on the couch with sucking on my thumb, going, I can't do this. I kind of felt sick. It was like a really heavy feeling being cut off from the rest of the world. So for me, I love VR and how immersive it is. It's truly mind blowing, but I just can't last more than an hour. Are you one of those that can game for like a few hours and feel comfortable with it and okay with it, or?
I've done multiple hour like really long stretches of VR, but I'm usually only ever in for like an hour stretches because yeah, you do get even me with my VR legs and Valve Index to the other room, I get headaches just because it's a screen attached to your head that has a decent weight to it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially with when I was using like a bit of a crappier computer, lower frame rates gives you a headache. I cannot imagine Star Citizen in a VR headset though. I did try it. Worst experience I've ever had in terms of a VR. Well, quote unquote VR game. It is interesting though, especially with the when they brought the track IR stuff, they added Z-axis support to the player body in spaceships, which is very interesting to play with.
Yeah.
Because you could just lean in, take a look at your buttons, which is why I hope one day when Star Citizen actually polishes up its just general existence, then VR is going to be an option. Not going to be an option for like another 3 years, though. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Hader, I'm like I said, I kind of what we do, me, Ace, and Delta, we sort of say it. We say what we feel about the state of the game, right? We're very honest, and I've been having a rough week, right, with my love affair with Star Citizen, and I need a dosage. You're close to the sun, yeah, you're close to the source, or you're closer than I am. So, can I ask from one brother to another? Do you? I know this is a loaded question, so take it as you will. Do you think that the goals will be met? The Kickstarter goals, the 100 system,
No,
the
not within the next like decade. It is 100
okay,
system. People who still believe in the 100 system dream are insane. Devs have already given up on that.
yeah,
Like they've realized the reality long ago, and more people are realizing, at least outside. They're going to eventually say that every system's planned. They're going to eventually hit everything, but you're not gonna you're not gonna see that system list really get to like even the halfway point for like another decade. Even with a bunch of outsourcing companies, CIG doesn't want to stretch themselves too thin.
yeah,
Even with like potential like 3,000 man like hit squad. It's impossible to really do that much content for something as grand as their plans for Star Citizen.
Okay, like the 100 solar systems was one aspect of it. Everyone on a single server, and that kind of real life universe feeling. Do you see it getting? Let's say if it's even like 10 systems. Do you kind of do you believe in Star Citizen, Hater? I need you to believe, or else I'm really going to have problems.
There are some. Okay, so my issue with the issue right now is that they don't exactly have an approach currently. I've talked to some people who know networking. They don't have an approach currently to solving these big fleet battles. It's not even a priority right now. Like giant, innumerable fleet battles requires a angle of tech which they can't really approach until they do a bunch of other shit, which you are going to start seeing within this next year, luckily. But once it's hard to say. Like a lot of things are becoming more and more possible by the year, and if they were going to go straight for it now, I would say not really possible. But stranger things have happened in the CIG warehouses. Now planets were a pipe dream, and now it's gonna be the way the game now.
Yeah.
Like it's there's no reason not to be or to be too pessimistic about it, but give yourself healthy expectations. That's what I could say, and just in general for like any other question you ask is just, or if like, where is this? How is this going to be? If you manage your expectations, you'll be pleasantly surprised, because there is some stuff in the backgrounds that they want to show people. They're going to show people on October. Some of it I am privy to, some of it I'm just absolutely not. But it's great. It's great in some ways. In other ways, you'll probably be disappointed, especially when that roadmap update hits with the with the replans. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my attitude's always been like, these guys are trying to do something that's never been done before. It's like someone who wants to go climb Mount Everest for the first time, and that person's got a chance of falling off and dying, right? So nothing's guaranteed in life, and I've just had a super rough week this week, but I appreciate your answer, man. And that's it for me. So thanks, Hater. I'll pass on to the next interviewer, Mr. Ace.
Yeah, so my first question would be, what brought you to Star Citizen? How did you hear about it, and what made you actually buy into it?
I found out about it when I was really bored in a computer science class, or in a Photoshop class or something. It was like some computer literacy class back in probably like my first year of, or last year of middle school, first year of high school, I forget which one. And we were told, hey, find a cool piece of tech that you want to look into for like a paper. And like, I'm just looking, I like video games. Let's Google some techie video games. Star Citizen obviously comes up first, or at least one of the first ones. And I like look into it, and walkable ship interiors and Instabuy. That's all I need. Like the keys of walkable ship interiors is all I needed to like be interested in this project. I didn't buy into it for probably another year. I tried it in the free fly around like 2.1, I think, or 2.0 proper. Whenever the first free fly for 2.0 happened, that was probably when I participated in with my absolute dog shit PC. Like, I don't think you understand how bad this PC was. I was getting like a frame every like few seconds. I tried it just because I wanted to, and I managed to get in a Connie, and I managed to fly away somehow. Don't know how, but I did it, and it was cool, and that's why I stuck with Star Citizen.
Yeah, next question would be, why leaks in particular?
Leaks in particular is, I felt, nowadays there's I have two different thoughts on it. Because last time I made it originally because again 15, a little immature. I just wanted to get some leaks, and I thought if I built up a group made for leaks, then more leaks would come as some sort of perpetual motion machine. More people leak and more leaks. That's exactly how it works, because I was totally right then. If there was a place named Star Citizen Leaks that had the leaks, people would go there to either leak or find leaks. And the more people who wanted to find leaks, the bigger it was. More people who had leaks went to go to it. Now, that was my thought process when I was 15. Nowadays, why I continue to do leaks, and why I'm still thinking about it at this point, it's just because of that transparency angle. There's some stuff I feel like CIG should talk to people about, especially I disagree with the entire concept of an NDA regarding at least Evocati and some of its strike groups, but that's that's it.
Let's keep it brief there. It's okay. Yeah. What's your favorite ship, man?
Favorite ship?
Yeah, you have to pick one.
I know it's gonna sound like a memeing, but honestly, when the 400i does eventually come out, I am a big fan of it. It's a very cool ship. It's a very compact ship. It does everything you want, and it has that nice smooth angle to it. It's essentially just like a polished MSR.
400i coming out soon.
Yeah, the only one we got to see was Invisible, so yeah. Would be nice to see the rest of it.
Yeah, the 400i is the reason why he had to eat that sock.
I know.
Look, the 400i is done now, at least. It should be the next update, but I don't want to say that.
No, we
I'm
don't
not
say
betting
it.
on it.
No.
I'm not betting on it.
No.
Good, at least you learned your lesson.
Is that reasonable expectations?
Can I just butt in? Sorry, Ace. Like this, is there like a you guys do all the technical stuff of trying to see what's in the code and get some insight. And obviously, is it true to say, Hater, that like developers would kind of obviously lead you astray by putting things that aren't going to be in the game to kind of put you off the scent? So that must be quite you must have a bunch of talented people to try and sort of decipher what's real and what's not real. Is that right? I mean, I'm a non-technical guy, man, so I just sort of watch some of your videos, and that's kind of the gist I get from it. It must be pretty hard.
I feel like some people misinterpret what that exactly means. CIG doesn't throw in here's the CitizenCon plans, even if they're like completely fake. Like, oh, here's some fake CitizenCon plans. We're gonna pretend they're real and throw them in like some basic ass file somewhere. CIG doesn't do that, and they've never done that. Usually, stuff that quote unquote accidentally makes it in is like stuff that is real, but slips through, not because like marketing direction, but probably just because some dev who's doing the branch splitting decides, hey, this isn't that bad if it gets out, blah blah blah. Or maybe it is, even if it is like done by marketing, it was just something so minor that it didn't affect them. That's the kind of purposeful stuff that's the only stuff that kind of comes out on purpose. It's not stuff to mislead, stuff just to kind of tease.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
I would say something like probably the fakest kind of thing would be the Star Bomber. Some bits on it, some like really, I don't know. I've not heard much on that thing.
Star Bomber.
Star Bomber, yeah. It was they left in some object containers relating to the lights for a Star Bomber ship, the Crusader. Not Hercules. Ares, not the Ares either. Some god. Achilles, yeah. Yeah, the Achilles Star Bomber.
Right.
And they left in some minor light object containers, had the name of the ship on there. Well, it was more likely than not that was something that was just thrown in there to kind of tantalizate. Maybe it was something that was canceled. Maybe it was something that they were legitimately working on that was just really early. That stuff does slip in, and that's one of the ones I'm kind of convinced is more purpose than accidental leaving in.
Yeah.
Then there's stuff like the Argo Raft skeleton list stuff that pops in, which just confirms some basics about the Argo Raft. and the fact that it's not a refinery ship. I don't get why people keep speculating this. Sorry, I don't want to get into inner community stuff. I want to be more general here, but yeah, it's never to mislead, only to tease. That's
So
the entire thing I'm trying to say.
what do you think the Argo Raft is? Or what is it? I
Um,
haven't heard of it before, so...
The Argo Raft is a cargo ship with a tractor beam. It's going to be the first ship really utilizing that 2.0 cargo system that they have going on. I think they're probably going to tease it around SitCon. I'm not sure. But a lot of people speculate due to, because there's some images that leaked alongside it, that it is a refinery due to how industrial it looks.
Right.
Now, the person who sent me the images, as well as gave good descriptions of the ship, as well as item placements, sizes, weapon placements, blah blah blah. Yeah, that ship is not carrying any sort of refinery bits. That's one of my kind of that's it, the raft kind of summarizes my big dislike with doing leaks, which is a lot of people read between the lines of between the lines kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. CIG is very good at filling in the stuff between the lines. I think like the only people who are really good at getting between those lines and figuring out what's what are people like Paul at the was it Astropub? Like that guy. We've had discussions before where he's just straight up predicted stuff, and the man's freaking Nostradamus when it comes to ships somehow.
Yep.
Like I hear something and he's somehow gotten it before I have even, and like he hasn't gotten the exact thing. It's not like he's like found some name. It's just, oh yeah, there's a RSI fighter coming at CitizenCon, and we say there's an RSI fighter coming at CitizenCon, but he's already figured it out because he's a goddamn big brain. I don't get it. The man just knows.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Sorry, Ace. Back to you, my man. I was
Yeah,
just
okay.
curious.
I'm gonna go on with my questions. The next one would be, what kind of player are you? Are you more like into PvP, PvE? Do you play more solo, or do you do some group stuff, and do you enjoy that, like playing in groups?
I do mainly solo PvE.
Mhm.
It's really the only thing that's kind of been given a huge polishing brush. I did a lot of mining when it first came out, and a lot of vehicle mining when that first came out. I enjoy them, but not enough to really keep doing it past its point. There will be a time when stuff's more stable, inventories are more stable, and we don't 30k and lose everything, that I will get back into it, but it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Solo, I do multi-crew play. Every once in a while, it is fun. I enjoy it. It's usually more fun than like most of solo play I do, because
Yeah, I
but
agree.
it's just such a pain in the ass. I do not want to do it. It's like. Hmm.
You mean like broken party launch and stuff like
It's
that?
like eating socks.
It's like smoking ketamine, right? Like you're going to die, but you're at least gonna have a fun time.
Okay. What are you looking forward to the most, dude?
The most,
Yeah.
personally, I've always been more of a Squadron. Like I like Star Citizen. I love Star Citizen.
Mhm.
When Squadron comes out, I'm probably going to reel back some of my Star Citizen participation, because I would have had my complete fill of what I've absolutely been looking for from Star Citizen, which
Okay.
is just like a really nice, just single player experience. Because I like Star Citizen's gameplay, and I would love something where it's kind of self-contained. And not only that, but after, when the modding community really starts to dig deep and having their fully sanctioned offline mode to play around with, it's going to get
Mhm.
really interesting with some of the fan-made stuff.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
with Star Citizen's possibilities, I wouldn't be surprised if within a year we'll have like, fully interior done Millennium Falcon and fully interior done Star Destroyer or something like that. There are some silly things you can do with Star Citizen's engine that you can't really do yet, because Star Citizen CIG doesn't condone it. especially with the fact that it's as easy as 123 to just enable DevTools. So they don't like modding right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me butt in again. Like Squadron 42, Hater. Like I play a lot of single player games, and I love them. And I've got high expectations because I do play these single player games. Fantastic. I can name a million games that I've played, but let's just start with like Mass Effect, for example, or Dead Space, or I don't know, Last of Us. These are all fantastic, narrative driven single player games. And I want Squadron 42 to be up there. But, when you talk about the PU and Star Citizen MMO, there's really nothing for me to compare it to. So there's a lot of leeway for them. Like, there's a lot of forgiveness for me. Like, they'll try something, it fails, or they'll do something, it takes a long time. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, no one's ever done this stuff before. So it's okay, mods, let's give them time. But when it comes to a single player game, there's a lot of high expectations from me anyway, because of these other single player games that are out on the market. Do you have any trepidation, or do you think it'll be good, and that theoretically Squadron 42 will hit the marks and be a solid game? Or what are your expectations, I suppose, Hater, in regards to that single player experience in Squadron 42?
Squadron 42 is going to be like Cyberpunk 2077.
All the bugs and everything.
It's going to be a buggy game,
Yep.
and it's going to be a very simple game in places. But the difference will be that it's not going to be marketed like Cyberpunk 2077, where it's this next-gen AAA. Okay, what I literally do mean Cyberpunk 2077, in which case it's like the missions are pretty decently linear with a little bit of openness to it.
Yeah.
The story's decent, but like you're not biting your tongue for every single action to happen.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a pretty chunky amount of content in there.
Yeah.
And it's gonna look fucking beautiful.
Okay.
Difference, of course, being that Cyberpunk 2077 sold itself on aspects that it didn't even try to approach, but Squadron 42 isn't gonna go for that, though. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to wait until the launch lead up before I say anything on whether or not Squadron 42 is going to be a little bit misleading in its marketing. Just if you're expecting just a very simple but entertaining shoot 'em up kind of thing, then yeah, you're going to be pleased. You're going to be heads over tails pleased. It's going to be it's a treat, but it's going to be buggy. It's going to be a buggy treat.
Yeah.
I see no reality where it's not buggy on launch, and I see no reality where it's not buggy until the end of time. Depending on how many years from now, it'll be more or less buggy. Personally, I don't think they have a year yet, though the fact that they're moving some core teams is very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so Hater, I want to know how many people do you have on your team?
I don't count. I would say it's over 10, less than 30. Because there's like two types of, in terms of like people who work directly in like obtaining leaks and information, I would say, not counting sources, about five people in total who like. And in terms of people who know absolutely everything, I would say it's only one, and that's Arya.
Okay. How deep do you guys have to dig for this stuff?
Some of it's just easy. Some people just message us. I was very, very hard in pursuing my own like internal sources very early on. Honestly, I found it a little inefficient. Yeah, I still do it sometimes, basically just to get like very one-off type of scoops, like, "Oh, are you working on this?" or "How's this going?" And they describe it, and that's about it. Something very minor things. Some for actual info, like, "Oh, here's a big thing." like Argo Raft or something like that, usually that's just you message us because no one likes to give that stuff out if you ask. Let me just say that.
So have you ever
Unless
had
it's someone who usually works with us.
have you ever had a situation where you had someone that was very close to the project send you information?
Yes, plenty of times. It happens. Actually, it happens a lot more often than people themselves sending us the information, which is very. It's a very kind of iffy situation when that happens because we don't want to screw over the second party or the first party who got it from the second party, so we tend not to report on that type of stuff.
Mhm. Have you ever been threatened or contacted directly by CIG?
Threatened I've been contacted directly by CIG plenty of times. Threatened by CIG depends what you mean by threat. Threatened as in, oh, stop leaking it or else you're fucked. Never. Threatened as in, oh, you have some copyrighted imagery from Evocati. We're gonna take down your video, or you can remove it, but voluntarily. That's all I've ever gotten, and I do listen because yeah, technically they have every right to take down an Evocati video, and I'm not gonna freaking, I'm not gonna try and fight it, especially when it's uploaded on my personal or on the SE Leaks YouTube. But we just upload it other places when it comes to that kind of stuff. What's on YouTube is typically just like actual verbal analysis of stuff. That's stuff they can't actually copyright. Imagery and all that stuff. That stuff is the only thing we've ever really been threatened over. And only I've been personally talked to by a couple employees about just the entire ethics of it. Mainly just community managers. I haven't really like some low employee. I've never been contacted by like some random employee just telling us, "Oh, can you not leak that?" Honestly, I've been given more props than
Really?
straight up like, "Oh, please don't leak that," because because usually the coverage on this kind of stuff is pretty positive. It's a good example. Some microtech imagery when that stuff was going on. I was contacted by a few people from the art environment team and just saying, "Oh, you're doing a naughty thing, but I do like the feedback."
So,
Stuff like that.
Hater, am I reading the situation wrong? Is there a controversy with Star Citizen leaks in the sense that if you guys like monetize stuff like, I don't know, YouTube or whatever, is there like, some what is it, lashback or whatever, from the community in the sense that, oh, you guys, you're Evocati or whatever, you've got access to this information, you shouldn't be making money off it, or
Yeah, that's entirely why YouTube kind of started up because I want to see if I can do something extra. Yeah, the Patreon is not because of the information. If you're doing for the monetization angles, you're doing it because of the actual way it's presented. The videos are of quality and you like them because that takes time out of my day to actually make the videos, and and anything like extra outside of that,
yeah,
like Discord moderation, blah blah blah. Originally, it was money was only for Discord giveaways, but as I you know moved out of my own home, I do actually pay bills with that money.
yeah,
And it has been a major help, especially when I was working like $12 an hour and living in a city apartment. Like that has actually kept me from being homeless like several times.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely don't
But
hate for that.
yeah, but nowadays, like I'm able to pause it. Like I've paused it this month, or last month now, because of the lack of content. Like I'm able to do that without a sweat. Like it's now it's just an extra thing. It's nice. This
answers
might
question.
help explain some things, but I have ADHD, so I get off track quite a bit in my mind, and it's probably what helps me make half the stuff for Star Citizen Leaks, or if I have half the motivation for it,
Yeah,
which is nice.
yeah. No, oh, good. You answered the question. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that Argo raft, Arya, she actually did a video on it. Moz, if you want to check it out.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Got to go check it
They
out.
had it on their page. All right, I think that sums up all the questions. We can stop the interrogation now.
Thanks, Hater.
We appreciate that, man. Sorry
Thank
for so
you,
many
man.
questions, but I think
No, it's fine.
everybody now has a better understanding of Hater as the admin of Star Citizen Leaks and as an individual person. All right, what we're going to do now, we're going to shift into the week in review.
Week in review.
All right, so this past week, Moz, what did you get into?
As I was saying to Hater, I was having a rough time with my dear Star Citizen. So, obviously Xenothreat. There were some nights where Xenothreat just refused to function, which was a little bit frustrating. So, anyway, moving on from that, we did get thrown in jail because of the crime stat thing. The UE started attacking us, so we ended up in jail. And did another great escape. Getting used to doing these great escapes, which is fun. But I did an org event as well. So the Skeleton Crew organised a fight club on one of our 890 jumps. So we went and had a boxing tournament with some prizes up for grabs, which is fun. Was it as fun as it could have been? There was a lot of desync. And I think actually doing a fight club really highlighted the amount of desync in this game for me. So it was fun, and there were some elements that we were kind of like, oh my god, we've got a long way to go as well. So, but it was good to catch up with everyone in the org and hang out in the 890 jump and punch each other. So that was my week in SC.
Ace, what did you do this week?
2 words: server hopping. That was my main occupation in Star Citizen, and then obviously doing Xenothreat if you found a server that actually worked. And yeah, I had to get that rep up. I want that armor. It's I'm a collector sometimes, and got a bit carried away until I didn't finish the 3rd reputation bar. I didn't quit playing, so yeah.
Resilience.
But that was. Yeah, but I didn't have much time to play otherwise, so I only did Xenothreat a couple of times, like at least 10. And it was kind of a rough experience because half the time you got to the end of one of the missions and it 30k'd out like 3 or 4 times in a row. And that was like, oh, I'll never get that reputation full. And yeah. Was a little bit annoying, but when it worked, it was pretty fun. I enjoyed the collaboration between all the players, like, total complete strangers and going into the shipwrecks, shooting stuff and throwing around the cargo boxes. And yeah, that was fun.
All right. So, Hater, you said you've been in game more often lately. What did you get into this week?
Oh yeah. No, I finally upgraded my computer. Like, everything's just a huge step up on here. RAM's faster, freaking 2080, 3950 Ryzen. Like, this thing is a fucking beast. So I decided, let's play some Xenothreat. And turns out, okay, I should mention that I am astronomically lucky when it comes to Star Citizen. Like, just in general. Like, I don't get how I'm just so lucky when it comes to anything Star Citizen related, especially leaks, which is why I'm even able to keep
You've never dropped a frame.
Okay, I've dropped frames obviously, but like I think I've only been on like 3, maybe 4 inactive servers. When I was actively doing Xenothreat, like I stopped when I stopped doing Xenothreat. Like obviously I've been on inactive servers. Where it's just hit the level 3 stop. You know, the one where it just says, oh, you go regroup for the final battle or whatever.
Yeah.
But outside of that, yeah, I've just been doing a lot of just exploring verse as well as just a huge bit of Xenothreat. I was actually able to like fill out my bar in like 3, 4, maybe even 5 hours. Like it was quick
Oh,
because
shit.
I had like two complete goes during my first bit, and I was able to stick around for like 2 cargoes, probably like a day prior. Because
I'm
like I don't know,
jealous.
I had like 20 minutes. Yeah,
I'm
I was able to
jealous,
just go
man.
in. And I think I've by now I think I've done the battle like 7 times. One
Yeah.
Yeah, and luckily when I did a multi-crew run for a few hours, I was able to get in with like a group of like 10 second try. So thank God for my luck sticking around for that, because oh my god, I hate group play just because of how much of a pain it is, especially right now. Desync has actually been pretty nice to me. I've gotten the crime stat bug though once, where you get crime stat and then you're screwed. But I
Yeah.
was about to stop playing anyways, so it didn't really matter. I just got off. But yeah, I've just been the Xeno threat's a blast. I do hope it gets better when they do it a third time, and yeah, that'll be nice.
Sweet. Well, we know that the CIG gods bestow good fortune upon Hater, yet they judge
They
Delta
hate me.
with harsh punishment of 30Ks, desync, and character resets. So I didn't get much time to play this week. One, because I'm sick. So if I cough or sneeze, I apologize. But I did wind up getting into Xenothreat several times. I have actually never completed the whole entire thing because I have limited gameplay time, and usually when I get in, these things take 2 to 3 hours at a time. I've never passed the cargo mission, but I pulled back on Xenothreat because I wanted to get back into rock mining. I was gonna run with an exploit there, but me being a dumbass, I decided that I was gonna test the CIG system. Here's what I did, and you guys are gonna trip out about this because I knew it was gonna fuck me over. I took my rock, put it on my cuddy. I was in my rock, in the cuddy, 5 meters above Aberdeen, logged out in the bed.
Oh, that's your first
No.
mistake. Actually, your first
Yeah.
mistake was loading your cuddy. Your second mistake was flying your cuddy. Third mistake was logging out.
Yep, I did just that. So I had the character reset. Did the character reset, got back in, was getting back on track, but multiple 30Ks back to back to back. That the servers they got to address these servers, man. The server load is too much. You can't do anything, or at least I couldn't, because the CIG gods hate me.
I honestly believe they're throttling everything just for Xenothreat right now. Like, you even like try to get a hanger over at ML1, and it's just like it takes like 5 freaking minutes, I swear, to
Yeah.
actually get down on pad.
Yeah, it's a bit much. And outside of that, I do what I do every week: admin work, meetings, organization, trying to make sure we moving in the right direction with the org. Outside of that, that's it. I have limited play time. So what we're gonna do now, shift into CIG media releases.
Okay, so this week we have 2 videos, and we're gonna start talking about the Star Citizen Life one. It was called Get Rich or Die Tyrer. They have to stop letting Jared make those titles, man. Seriously.
I'm surprised
Okay.
he actually did that. Well, that's 50
I don't
Cent
know if
shit.
it was him, but it sounds like it was him, you know? So yeah, obviously featured Rich Tyrer and Jared. And yeah, the main things they talked about was about streamlining the feature teams, the actor feature teams and such to cooperate more in between each other, so they can get a more dedicated and like finished feature out, and they'll be focusing on creating them first for Squadron 42 and then moving them over to the PU. So we'll see a lot of changes in the roadmap, I guess. Like instead of having tier 0 of whatever is coming. Yeah, so basically what they said was they are going to optimize the workflow for Squadron 32, and that will leak over into the PU. There's more like a design collaboration between the teams and studios, and it's instead of having everything everyone doing their own thing and then coming together and trying to figure out if it works. Like have the general idea first and then make it work, which kind of seems natural. Like they should have done that like a while ago, in my opinion. But
They kept alluding to this traditionally the way it's done, but they always trying this novel approach to shit, but they should have just been doing that to begin with.
It's really hard to split up all the stuff in between the teams and then coordinate it, and half the stuff makes sense in the end.
Yeah, I mean, for me, sorry, Ace.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for me, man, like Squadron 42, you know, how am I gonna put this politely? Like they've said Squadron 42 was going to be released several times. Am I overstating that? Am I exaggerating that point? So
you're right about
they have lied. Am I overstating that? They've lied. I believe. Like, how else am I gonna? How else can I explain that? That they didn't lie, or
they missed the mark.
They missed the mark. What's a? If I was a politician, how do I spin this?
Alternative facts.
So the more I read, like when I read the Squadron 42 monthly report, it's just a bunch of like. The more I read it, I'm like, oh my god, these guys are nowhere. Like they're nowhere near the end of this game. Like they're talking about how an AI can move around the box and all this sort of stuff after 9 years, and now I'm trying to read between the lines. And Hater, I'd like your opinion on this. Like, I feel this massive shift towards Squadron 42. Obviously, you said that, Chris Roberts, maybe 2 years build up for him to go to England. And so the only logic from an outsider, which is what I am, is I feel like, are they hitting a crunch point where it's like, okay, it's been 9 years. We've got no progress on this, or a little bit of progress or minimal progress on this, single player game. We can't possibly get to 20 years without releasing a single player game. So we need to focus on Squadron 42. What's happening here? What's the big picture that there's this shift to Squadron 42? That's kind of how I make sense of it, is like, hey guys, it's been nearly a decade and we're going nowhere with Squadron 42. We need to get it out the door. So let's, put more talent on it, more focus on it, and make that a priority. What's your take, Hater, on this shift of development?
It's a mix of a few things. One of them is obviously they want to get Squadron 42 out at some point within the next few years. The other one is that the PU is getting to a point where they believe they can just have it evolve on its own. Or not on its own, but without having half the entire staff be exclusively PU, or at least trying to work every single thing for Squadron into the PU. Now we're at a point where there are some things, like, it might not seem it now, but there are things that they can just do for Squadron, or they could just focus on Squadron now. A lot of the teams were character gameplay related, things that are very much... I've seen their previous meeting on a bunch of the character gameplay related features. It's a little rough.
Right.
It makes sense why they're being a little bit more Squadron 42 prioritized, as well as having the PU be just more of a focus, or not focus, but just less of a focus, but also having higher polished things. They want things to come out.
Yeah.
That's just long and short of it. Like, I've heard good things about Squadron, or else I probably would have given up by now. I've also heard very bad things about Squadron. Like, I think like some person once threw me probably a few months ago, 5 years on Squadron.
Yeah.
I like to tell people that because it gets them all in a tizzy. But yeah, there are people who, no one has any idea when Squadron's coming out at all.
Yeah.
And they are obviously wanting to tilt a little bit towards that. Now that the PU is going to kind of be in its own thing, where it's a lot more content driven than feature driven, especially after these next few groupings of features come in. And they want to just have it so for a while, the PU is mainly content, while a lot of these gameplay features and people working on getting those gameplay features actually possible are working on something that is a little bit more short term, Squadron, relative to this giant hunk of a PU.
Yeah. Yeah. So for those that haven't seen the video, I'm sure most people have, but Richard Tyrer has got a new role. He's a Squadron 42 FPS game director. And he's going to he's still doing his old job, but he's getting this additional kind of responsibilities put onto his shoulders. I think he was was he a core game director or something?
Or gameplay pillar director is what it was titled.
Yeah. So, as you said, Ace, before they used to just make like tier 0 versions of a feature, let them loose in the PU, and then they just kind of flounder there without anyone using them because there was no ecosystem to use these features with. Yeah. So they're now going to go, and any feature that gets developed or whatever goes straight to Squadron 42 completed. So, ready for that sort of single player type experience, which means, it's going to work, it's going to be effective, it's going to be responsive, and it's going to have an ecosystem to interact with and all that sort of stuff. And then it'll go into Star Citizen after that fact in a complete manner. So the release cycle of features is going to be drastically impacted, but apparently the speed of development won't be impacted. Is kind of what I read from it. For me, I think that's something they should have done ages ago, I think. But it's easy for me sitting here in my, underwear in my garage throwing stones, not knowing anything about game development and stuff. So hindsight's always 20/20. But I am excited. I think it kind of annoyed me in a way because I don't forget the history of the promises of Squadron 42. It just annoys me, right? But moving forward and, getting rid of the baggage, I think it's a good thing. And looking forward to seeing maybe things being released, I don't know, a little bit less HATER, but with higher quality, maybe?
Yeah, that's kind of what I got from it too. Yeah, like, it might take a little longer, but what we get is not like complete shit. Like,
yeah.
What do you want with that trolley, for example? It's completely useless.
Yeah.
Right now. It is a lot bigger than you would think. But Star Citizen's development can be described as a lot of very smart, very talented teams throwing shit at a wall and see what sticks. Yeah. And that is something Well, I'm really not joking here. Chris Roberts has really appreciated that. It's why a lot of these second features that weren't promised in the initial cut have really, the most polished feature today, Planet Tech. That's where that came from. It's just, hey, let's throw this prototype. Let's see how it works. Let's see how it goes. This tier 0 of something, and maybe that can be something big for the future. Now that CIG has kind of developed this idea of what they actually want to do, and even more so now, they want to move farther away from these tier 0 implementations into these farther, this is how it's going to play later, except, obviously later it's going to be more polished, but more polished doesn't mean completely different. It just means it's going to play better instead of differently.
Yeah.
Not be complete trash when it's introduced.
Or just on an island with nothing else to do with it,
There's a lot of stuff that's there but not really useful at the moment. So
yeah,
I have high hopes that they integrate some stuff. There's obviously things you'll need missions for, or at least some degree of something to do with it, like the hacking stuff. You have to have a reason to get into something, or
more than just one mission that you just go to and do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess we're getting there.
Yeah. So for me, one of the things that stood out outside of them saying that now this is pretty much going to tie everyone together, and they're going to be more communicative with each department and division, which kind of blows my mind. I mean, that's the way you do with any project, but we're looking over the next 2 weeks. Jared said that we'll see SEL start focusing more on the upcoming changes and new features and how they'll affect the PU. So I'm actually excited about that, along with the coming additions like FPS radar and scanning, which we knew was coming, medical gameplay, the blood drug level, personal thought wheel. I mean, personal thought is actually going to be a wheel and not a list anymore. EVA is getting a rework, 0G push and pull, and that actually is going to allow you to attach and climb onto things, and then physical locker. So I'm very excited about those things.
Most interesting part about the EVA was that they said it will finally require fuel. It's not anymore like you can float from Microtech to ArcCorp if you got the time. So that's pretty interesting. And they said it's going to be decoupled.
I'm going to be butting my head against lots of ships and stuff, no doubt about that.
Yeah, but I mean that's where the tractor beam actually becomes an interesting item that you can actually use for more stuff than just fuck around with enemies' weapons and throw random crap around.
So he also talked about like all this, Death of a Spaceman and medical gameplay seems like it's going to be the next wave that's going to hit us, obviously. And he talked about the downed state of the player once they die, if there's, or once they get injured, they're in a down state, and your friends can come and kind of recover or help you out, and how drugs kind of just mask the symptom until you get into a hospital bed to heal
actually
yourself.
Fix the injury.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
Yeah, it was a lot of info, but I think I think that sums it up pretty much for the SEL.
Yep.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move over to the next video they had this week, which was Ship Trip, and they showed off a lot of progress on the Vulture. They showed some images of the Ion and Inferno and the Redeemer, and another thing to mention was that in 3.15 we'll get the gold standard for the Saber. That's pretty interesting. And then we saw some new weapons and guns. We all like weapons and guns. We can always use them.
Yeah,
those were like electron based. Yeah, the thing is, although the electron weapons look kind of cool, I really dislike the blue.
The blue.
Yeah, all that is the color.
The blue.
Yeah, I mean, it's electric. It's gotta be blue, man.
I love the look of it, though, man. I love the look of it. They don't look waterproof. They don't look waterproof. They look like you go into a swimming pool with all the wires and stuff hanging out. You're gonna zap yourself. But you know what? You know how I was saying like last week. I'm a little like, despite the fact I love Star Citizen's artwork, art style. I love it, man. I love this games. But we spoke about like some of the lore kind of boring me, and you've got a kind of traditional type of human. These guns are like the first guns that kind of remind me of like a cyberpunk type, future. They look futuristic but gritty. They got wires hanging off them, and I can imagine them in cyberpunk, for example, quite easily. So I love the way they look.
Yeah, the looks were great, man.
One of them was a laser gun, though. There was a LMG, a SMG, and there was a sniper rifle. But the sniper from Volt, the manufacturer, it was actually a laser gun. It wasn't an electron gun, which was interesting.
Another thing that was really interesting, and this is gonna bring so many tears into the PU, was laser trip mines.
Yeah.
I hope they bring them soon, because the PU will never be safe again, man.
No, mayhem.
Another thing they showed off was the new places at Orison, like Cousin Crow's, the customizing shop.
What a weird name.
Yeah, I mean, I bet there's some lore behind it, so
yeah,
we'll check that out in the future.
That was a ship customization shop or something?
Yeah, exactly. You could like change out your components, paints, and like those swappable modules, you'll be supposed to be able to swap them out over there. And more, he said. So I'm curious what and more means.
Fluffy
Because
dice for your ships.
I'd be down with fluffy dice, man. Yeah. So the other areas they showed was like some shots of the IAE showroom, some cutaways of the bombs and the Hercules cockpit, like as decoration items there, which looked cool. And I'm not sure if it was, but it looked like the Crusader Industries headquarters, like at the very end, where they had this entrance with that bar and stuff.
Crusader showroom, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the IAE showroom, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. They just had one image where it said Crusader Industries on some.
And then they just showed cybernetic arms. When is cybernetics coming out?
Man, that's badass.
I know. No, I'm just saying. Like, here's an image of. I nearly fell off my chair. I was like, oh my god! I know I've seen these pictures before, but the more and more they tease me with it. That looks so cool. I agree, Delta. Like, yeah, it's awesome. So, Hater, cybernetics. When are they coming out, Hater?
Never.
Yes, that'll take a while, dude. Those were just drawings, man. No, they're not even 3D yet.
Yeah.
Wait until the medical system's fleshed out first, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm them.
Another thing they showed was like this a new window renderer. So on planets, you'll be able to have like differently lit rooms be differently displayed. So it actually makes the verse feel more alive, in theory at least.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how that actually works out in the end. But
I'd
yeah,
like to have a shatterable window. So when the fucking elevators don't work, I can just dive out the motherfucking window.
And kill yourself.
Man,
well, if I have EAV fuel, now I could use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it works in gravity, really.
Don't tell me that.
You just fall faster.
I don't want to know that.
So, going back to the ships, man, is anyone fancying the Redeemer? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the dropship in Aliens. But
yeah, it has a little,
I can see that.
A little dropship style to it.
Yeah.
I thought it was as if it was a dropship.
It's gonna be a gunship. No,
It's a gunship.
No longer a dropship gunship hybrid.
Yep, 4-person gunship. And yeah, we talked about the Vulture last week. Yeah, interesting stuff, man. But obviously, for me, it was like they kept saying like the next 2 weeks it's going to be some, a wave of information in regards to Death of a Spaceman, medical gameplay, all those things. So
yeah, looking forward to that.
A Death of a Spaceman is going to make or break this game.
What do you think? What's your take, Hater, on Death of a Spaceman?
Talking to some of the people who were testing it, it's fucking big. It's a little buggy still, obviously, but it is fucking massive. They already called it in the SC Lime, so I'm not gonna say like, oh, I knew it first. But yeah, I've just gotten constantly, oh yeah, biggest patch since 3.0, biggest patch since 3.0, and they themselves say biggest patch since 3.0. This is the biggest patch since 3.0.
3.15 you're referring to, is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be substantial changes, man.
Yeah, it's huge fucking changes. And now with now I could finally do that, do a perp death run. That's gonna be fun.
All right, let's move on to the next segment, to SHIPtalk. The talking of ships. And in this week's episode, guys, we're going to talk about the Inferno, the Ion. What are they? Capital killers.
Yeah.
The big guns with a spaceship wrapped around them.
Yeah, good way to put it.
So let me take
a gun with wings.
Yeah, size 7s. It's got a big size 7 gun. One of them is laser or ion. The other one's ballistic. So who's got one is where I like to start with. Anyone got one? Ace has got
I
one.
got an Inferno, yeah.
I just heard about it the other day, and that's the reason why I put it on this week. More people didn't know about this. I'm definitely going to get one,
Yep.
but I want to fly around a size 7 gun with wings, so I'm definitely down for that.
Hater, are you?
Guys buy spaceships? My God.
Yeah, we do, man.
Someone's got to fund the project.
Yeah. See, I convince other people to fund the project.
That's
That's
a
good
smart.
approach.
That's smart.
By bringing in leaks,
exactly.
tell them what's coming, what they can pay for in the future.
So Aegis has made this ship. I mean, there's not much to add to
Crusader.
these. Oh, sorry, Crusader. What am I talking about? Jesus, sorry, guys. We'll start up with the size, the length, as I like to start, just to get people's imagination going. So it's 27 meters long. Let me see if I remember. So I think the Javelin was 480 meters long, according to the ship matrix. This could be all mumbo jumbo. We don't know. And it's got a one-person crew. Obviously, huge guns designed to tear apart capital ships. It'd be interesting to see like the ratio of how many you need to tear up an Idris. How the balancing's gonna sort of evolve. You need one. You need two. You need three of these ships to tear apart a capital ship. I hope you do need more than one. I'm sure you would.
Yeah.
Well, it's a one-man ship, so you're definitely going to need more than one. Got size 5 missiles on it too.
What's the size
Does
of
it?
the Ares again? Like the gun? 7, right?
Seven.
7.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's nothing.
that's nothing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's going to disappoint a lot of people when that thing comes out.
Okay.
Knowing some of the alpha damage numbers, that thing. A lot of people are expecting like this very, very powerful. Oh, I'm gonna be able to one-shot a capital with a fleet of these things. No.
No. Okay.
Torpedoes
No,
will
absolutely.
remain the tried and true way of killing capital ships. Like freaking, if high-sized guns already killed like large capitals, then the Glaive would be the number one fleet ship for eliminating the Idris.
Right. Okay. There you go. So you probably definitely, as you said, you need heaps more than one then.
I expect them to work together in like in wings, so to say. Like you got one guy in the Ion and the other guy in the Inferno. One dude shoots off the shields, and then the other one comes in and starts sawing the ship in half. The Gatling gun. Like that's how I picture it. Like you definitely need more than one
Yeah.
to do something. But if you got more than one, like 2 or 3 guys with those, could actually potentially cause a lot of damage.
Yeah, and then I see here too that one's a ballistic. The Inferno's ballistic, and the Ion is actually laser. So you're not going to have the option to put any lasers on.
Oh no, it's absolutely not swappable weapons. They are like dedicated. It's basically you buy the weapon and they add wings.
And ballistics are fucked right now, so I definitely wouldn't be down with that.
It will have more ammo than normal ballistics, but yeah, you will run out, I'm assuming, at some point. Yep. There's
Absolutely.
a picture of the Ion I'm looking at. It's like strafing the ground, killing Tonks, of all things, which is funny.
I guess it will work pretty well for that, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, not much to add. I mean, it looks like a little mini Mercury. It's got the Crusader kind of look and feel to it, obviously. Big ass gun on the side. It's asymmetric. The guns on the side. 27 meters long. It's got medium components. Apparently, it's got a utility item according to the ship matrix. I'm not sure what that is exactly.
Not sure either.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
I think that's like if we take a real life equivalent, it would be more like a Warthog A10. That
Yeah.
playing with a big Gatling gun on the front. That's how I see the ship. It's not like it's not a dogfighter. It's not designed
Yeah.
to engage in dogfights at all. You need to deliver as much payload as you can, and then GTFO. Basically, that's how I imagine it to work in the verse.
The Ion's actually going to come with another cooler too. So they both, the Inferno will have 2 coolers. The Ion will actually have 3. So I guess that'll help out with cooling down those guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that space where the third cooler in the Ion is, I guess, will be extra ammo in the Inferno.
Yeah.
Because if they set it out with 250 shots, that's like 2 seconds of fire and you can't fly home again. Yeah, that's not going to work for anybody.
We need more than one brrrt, CIG.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us at least 5 brrrts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that picture of it shooting the Tonks Ace, as you alluded to, is like an A10 doing like, combat support.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I suppose. What's it what is it competing against? Like the Hurricane, right? Is another.
Not really.
No. Okay.
I
the
don't
Hurricane
see
has
it
a
being.
turret. This doesn't.
No,
Yeah,
I
also,
know, but isn't
I
the
don't see it
Hurricane
like-
against big ships? Isn't the Hurricane like in
It's
fleets?
effective. Yeah, absolutely. But the Hurricane, I see more like it's more versatile as a fighter, I suppose. I
Okay.
have doubts that the Ares will be flying even half as good as the Hurricane is. Like it looks slower, like
Yeah.
you deploy a big gun and have to kind of maneuver around with it. But
When this thing comes out, we'll have to run an experiment.
oh, I will. I totally want to hunt space whales in it. That's my plan for it.
They can't bring in space whales, man. Like, we're going to be like ramming them, tearing them apart with our weapons. It's just not nice.
Who cares, man? It's just
It's
space
just not
whales.
nice. Jesus.
They're not real.
Oh, God.
I'll just
Even
have it
digital
so
animals matter.
I'll just have it so any ship that can realistically actually hurt a space whale is just too impossible to get down to that level of pressure where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I've got nothing else to add, Delta. Interesting ship, I suppose, in a way. It's very single-minded. It's, it's got Crusader designs and,
It's in concept, so there's nothing really we can talk about as far as what it does, how we like it. We have no experience with it because we're sitting here waiting on it. So the Crusader Ares, the Ion, and the Inferno, it's a concept ship. It's a damn size 7 gun with wings.
Yeah. One of them is designed to take down shields, and the other one is designed to tear apart the hull. I think that sums up our ship talk for this week. Let's move on to the next segment, my friends.
This is going to be scripted lore, where we're going to address a lore subject. This week, we're going to actually take it into a different route, because in researching the great Mars tragedy and Mars, I started to see some inconsistencies in the lore idea, to where I think that it was actually a UN conspiracy. And I mean UN because it was before the UEE. It was before the United Planets of Earth. Here's what happened. They're terraforming Mars in 2125 because they needed to have another habitable planet, because Earth is overwhelmed. They're going through overpopulation. They're actually having to knock down monuments to find arable land. Now, in 2113, Roberts Space Industries creates the technology for terraforming. Now, hear me out. Now you have a corporation on Earth that has created the technology for terraforming. The governments of Earth are struggling to manage their population. So now what's going to happen is the governments are struggling. they don't have the money. They can't keep up with the people. The population is increasing. Resources are dwindling. But now a corporation is going to go to Mars and terraform it. Once the corporation terraform Mars, by right, that would be that corporation's whole entire planet. So then we would see a shift into corporatocracy, to where now we have bypassed Earth government structures. So now that the terrestrial structures were bypassed, a corporation would then be controlling Mars, where there would have been subsequently a mass exodus, which actually happened. So if you look at the story, did you guys look into this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, man. So what's your conspiracy? I'm really interested.
Yeah, I don't see the
Conspiracy.
conspiracy yet.
Oh, it's definitely a conspiracy.
Okay.
So I think it was a conspiracy about the United Nations, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because if in the development, if the governments obviously weren't able to afford being able to terraform and subsequently colonize Mars, that corporation would have taken over. Robert Space Industries would have been the owner of Mars.
Okay, that's what.
Yeah.
I see
So
what you're
you
saying.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let me string it all together for you. So this was before any type of coherent entity as far as a government was created out. So we have to assume that it was the UN, because the UN existed before all
Sure.
of the planetary governments. Now, if we had a situation where the technology had a malfunction and these guys suffocated. So it was a technical error in the terraforming process, believed to be a chemical miscalculation in the planetary atmospheric processors that made the atmosphere unstable.
By an AI, right?
By
an
Exactly, that's the
AI.
point.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's AI-driven errors.
So now you're with me. Now listen to this. A government official who asked not to be named said this: the atmosphere didn't stick.
Yeah.
Simple. And he asked not to be named, but why would you not want to be named? So Robert Space Industries would have had that technology, would have gone to Mars, terraformed it successfully, because any of their previous experiments were successful. Now, later, it was investigated as to what actually happened, like many years later, and they had to dig up information on exactly what happened. So it seemed like the government entities were being evasive about answering the questions about what was going on. So here's what happens. Like 2157, Mars is finally successful in its colonization. Then we see this mass exodus of people from Earth to Mars. Then they created in 2200.
Is it clear who terraformed it this second time? Does it say? Like, is it RSI?
No, it does not say.
Okay.
It's not a corporation, and it's not our RSI. They actually don't say who did.
Yeah. Cool.
But think about this: if it was sabotaged, then the government of Earth, the UN, would have been able to intervene and say, we can't allow another tragedy like this to occur. We must have oversight on what's going on, like governments do.
Yeah.
So now that they have oversight, now they have their tentacles, because previously, before the actual tragedy, they had no hand in it, because they were fumbling around, trying to keep their population from dying, really, to be honest with you. So they didn't have time to deal with that issue right then. Yeah. I do think that it was actually a conspiracy, because what that did is it gave them time to regroup and then get their hands into it. And in 2157, they were successful in terraforming it. Now, a memorial was created for the Great Marsh tragedy and then a subsequent holiday. That actually started in 2200. But here's what the governments of Earth did in 2202. They actually start raffling off land in Mars.
Yep.
So this is a long drawn out conspiracy, but imagine if Robert Space Industries had been successful in territory. I mean, in establishing
Wait,
the atmosphere.
But that would mean you're basing this whole theory on the hypothesis that Robert Space Industries was alone in the colonization, in the first attempt of colonization. I don't think that's the case.
No,
I
they
think
were the
rather
ones who had the technology.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not a thing driven just by them. I assume it was rather like a government thing, and they used Robert Space Industries technologies, and it's
There
not
would be
like
a lot of speculation in that area
yeah,
because there's
yeah,
not much
exactly. It's not
information
really
regarding
clear.
it. But I would imagine, given the circumstances of Earth, that the governments didn't have the opportunity to do anything. Dude, they were bulldozing damn monuments to feed people.
Yeah, no, I can see that happening, man. I can see a company with the technology holding a gun to the government's head and saying, yeah, you can use our technology provided we get X, Y, Z, whatever on this planet, or we get control over this planet, and if you're naughty, we're not going to give you any more of our technology, Mr. Government. So, I can see that, kind of a
Could
big
be, yeah.
could be a thing. So yeah, I'm with you, Delta. It's an interesting theory, absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, how would the government have had time, or the UN, the governments of Earth, when they're dealing with, mass famine and literally taking natural and physical political wonders and just bulldozing the fuck out of them to create land? Dude, that doesn't, to me, I can't see where any government entity would have time to be focused on terraforming Mars. It would necessarily have to be through corporations.
Yeah, and they also at the same time had the talent to, let's say, compromise the AI that RSI was using to sabotage it,
Yeah.
which they would. I mean, they'd have access to.
Yeah, and then what you
governments.
do is you sabotage the situation, use that tragedy as a way to get government intervention. Now the government is involved because we want to oversee this to make sure it's healthy, but conveniently the governments of Earth start raffling off land in 2200, which
Yeah,
is 75 years after. So this is a long drawn out process.
yeah, which is what governments do, though, right? With new land, they either sell or give away land, but they don't just give it away; they give it away with a like that's what happened in, I think, in parts of it happened in Australia, like the Queen, if you like, would give land to a farmer, right? A settler, as they call them, and the settler would then get a big chunk of land, but you had to do things on that land, or the government could come and kick you off. Like you had to
But you're
develop.
missing the point, though. The point is that they would have not had that opportunity
Oh no,
had
no,
the
no!
the
I'm with you.
corporations been
No, no,
successful.
no! I didn't miss it. I'm with you, man. I agree. I said that's an
Yeah.
interesting thing. Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll keep going. Don't tempt fate is a quote that's traditionally and typically colloquially applied to this event for the Stella Luna, which is the actual holiday.
Yeah.
So here's what the idea is behind that. Aim for the stars, but strike for Mars. Illuminate the way. So during this, like, it's customary to have marriage proposals, which is like a representation for new business ventures, new entities, new social entities. The green and gold firework display that concludes the festival is to seal the deal on new ventures and business romantic partnerships. So it's cryptic, dude. To me, the way I see it,
Mm.
it it symbolizes and embodies within the culture of this holiday the new starts, the new social entities. And if you've read any of these articles, the government was actually very evasive about addressing some of the issues that like went on after the investigation of Mars. And then we see in 2384, separatist rebels are trying to separate from that whole unification of Earth as, you know, one entity now, pushing back on them from Mars. So that mentality and that culture, that rebellious nature, had to start somewhere for some reason.
Well, that's
But
interesting. That's what I was talking about
there's
last
like a
week.
big time span in between. It's like 200 years, 250 years in between the.
Dude, you know how you have to move that way when you're talking about conspiracy theories, dude. I mean, it might take you 150 years to make a move in a general direction. It's taken CIG 150 years to develop this damn game.
No, man, that's an interesting theory. Absolutely.
Like
And the holidays are weird holidays. Is there a holiday? Is that an in-game event ever?
yeah, it was last year. I think there was
Alien
like some
ships?
fireworks.
No. Is it Alien Week?
No,
No.
you got skins for Stella Fortuna. You got like a forum badge, and there were 2 skins available, if I remember right. Like there was one for the MSR. It was like green and gold.
Yeah.
I think that was it, and there was probably envelopes or little presents.
So
You could find wrong.
Hater, let me cut across. Are you into? Does the lore do anything for you in this game, or is it just there?
Does a
Or
bit.
yeah,
I mean, I've been studying some lore, just for stuff that's relevant, because I'm trying to get into Paul's head, because it seems like the lore is pretty relevant to what happens during any given point in time, especially event-wise. Looking into the actual Mars tragedy, which I was doing, it seems like it was a initiative mainly led by the UE, or whatever government body it was during that point, UN. It's really hard to tell whatever existed at that point. Best just to call it early UE or pre-UE government. According to this right here, the fact that a government official was the one who would know anything about it rather than Robert Space Industries, or the fact that the president was the one who actually gave this official statement on the bomb, on the entire tragedy, rather than any sort of company that was doing it. It seems like it wasn't. It was more just general humanity and the government working together to terraform, rather than corporatocracy, which takes over later in the years. Also, this is pre-extended lifespan stuff of like the late 2300s of like and 2400s, where human lifespans are like 150 years at a certain point.
yeah,
Like this is still when people are living normal lives. A conspiracy over 75 years isn't exactly feasible when it comes to timelines yet,
yeah,
because no one would care.
yeah. And this AI business. So, you know, there's going to be AI in the verse, right? The blades on the ships and things like that.
Yes and no.
But then
Yes and no.
it's limited as well, right? Is that right, Ace?
Yeah,
There's a kind of
absolutely.
limit to it.
Yeah.
Is that tied
That-
into
that's-
these tragedies, do you reckon? This Mars tragedy, and there's another tragedy called a car lemmings tragedy that predated the Mars AI
Yeah,
thing.
that's when all the
in Japan, apparently. Did everyone
yeah,
fall
all
off a
the-
cliff or something?
yeah the remote controlled cars, like the AI driven cars, went crazy and kill a bunch of people. That's basically what happened, and well, like in the thousands. And
Yeah.
uh,
The lemming
Yeah.
car incident in 2044.
so yeah, that's a reason, or one of the reasons, I guess, why AI is somewhat illegal to a certain degree. Like you don't develop like full on self-conscious AIs. Like that's not a thing. I think it's more like support AIs, like the blades, who make decisions based on algorithms rather than on conscious thought. Which is kind of interesting because the current what's it called? The current emperor. She's very pro AI and was like trying to further development into that region. So we'll see if that has some impact on the birds.
It's a bit, yeah. Again, I find it a bit weird because like AI is one of those technologies that it's like gunpowder. Like don't make gunpowder because it's too dangerous, or don't make too much gunpowder because it's too dangerous, right? But if the village next to you is like manufacturing tons and tons of gunpowder, you are forced to make gunpowder or you ain't going to survive. So if the Banu and the Vandal and all them have got these AI that are, optimizing the societies and it's a bit unrealistic in my eyes for humanity just to limit AI, I think. But it's an interesting, I know it comes out of gameplay kind of reasons, doesn't it? Like they don't want, because you can get to a point where you're like, well, I just have AI, flying my ship and robots doing everything for me, and it's a weird juggling of the balls, in my opinion. Yeah,
I mean, it's been done in several science fiction universes, like having AIs to go rogue and fuck shit up to a point where they said, okay, we need to get rid of AIs and develop ways around it. Like Dune is a prime example, for example,
okay.
There's a few others where AIs have to be very limited to a certain level of actual intelligence.
Yeah.
It's like there's a difference between artificial intelligence and
sentient,
self-conscious, self-sentient AI that could potentially ruin humanity. I think that's more the angle of it. There obviously are AIs for blades and whatnot, and I think that's aftermarket stuff. But you can even get ship AIs for that voice attack thing. Is it called voice attack?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's also an AI that talks back to you.
So for me, I can easily see a government body planning for a conspiracy over 75 to 100 years, because it's a long game pursuit. Long game pursuit is now that the UEE is every fucking where near about all over the fucking place. There's a lot of gaps in the story where the lure is not necessarily developed to detail. But if, in my opinion, from what I'm rendering from this, if the governments were literally bulldozing monuments, destroying things so they could just plant food, to me it seems like they were scrambling, barely able to maintain their population. And naturally, just like say IRL, Elon Musk has already said that when he goes to Mars and he colonizes Mars, it's not a damn government entity on Earth that's going to tell him what to fucking do. And that would have been what happened. A corporation would have went and started selling the land itself, and that would have made it the entity that was going to be in power. But definitely a long shot, because there's a lot of this lure section is not even developed in detail. But I wanted to throw out there because it was a fun and entertaining way to bring lure that we haven't done before.
Absolutely. It's a fun thought experiment for sure.
And I think the lore is good. It does. I don't think it has a lot of detail, like you said. There'd be so many, like just the discovery of Mars. Like when you watch other sci-fi shows, there's so many like little factions at play, and little power moves and stuff for securing resources. There would be so many of those little stories, knowing our beloved humankind. But it's not really in these one page of lore that you read here and a paragraph there, and
also
that level of detail, I don't find it to be there, to be honest.
Yeah, the other thing is like from the time the game is actually playing, this event is as far back as the Battle of Agincourt for us. So
yeah,
I don't know how much info of that is like actual historic.
So, Hater, do you know? Does CIG have any a whole team to develop in this lore, or not really?
Okay, so the lore is weird. It's both outsourced and insourced. Like, there's a general guide, especially when it comes to Squadron, but like, or it's stuff relating to that kind of lore. But for the most part, a lot of it is just straight up outsourced, especially when it comes to the older Jump Point lore.
So when you say outsource, it's like some other company doing it?
Well,
Like,
not other
Yeah,
company,
or writers.
oh, writers.
Contracted writers.
Yeah, contracted writers. Sorry, yeah.
Mm.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Open mic time, Ace. Open mic.
Open mic. So what I'd like to talk about this week is Ship Showdown.
Yep.
Ship Showdown is currently happening, and this means you can go and vote for your favorite ship, or enter with your own entry. It can be like an art project or some cool screenshots or
Yep.
stuff like that. And and the winners of the Ship Showdown will get a skin at the IAE as usual. So go and vote for your ship. I find it funny that there's like a little push in the community for the Argo MPOV cargo.
Everyone's
It's
got an
funny.
anti-hero on this. I'm telling you, everyone's like, all right, well, let's put a ship that no one uses.
Yeah, but it's fun. I mean, fight the system. Jared said so himself, right?
Yeah.
So it got my vote.
Bringing in an underdog.
Skin for the Argo.
I mean, it's like literally the most useless ship at the moment. Like no quantum drive, no guns.
If it's a piece of shit, you might as well make it look better then, I guess.
Exactly. One SCU. That's what it can do, man.
That's bullshit.
So yeah, what about you, Delta? What do you want to talk about in open mic?
Me, I would like to talk about the servers. Hater, what exactly do you know about their servers? Like, is it all these desyncs, 30Ks, and whatnot? And I'm not a technical guy, so I don't know really anything about that. Is it
It's
that their servers are overloaded and cannot do it? Do they need better servers? What's going on here?
better servers is not never the
Gonna be
solution
hard.
when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's just a mixture of like issues, just overloading, but like it's like buying a supercomputer to just like run a tough. Yeah, it's just buying a supercomputer to run Star Citizen. It's just useless. It's better just to optimize it.
Gotcha.
That's how a lot of this stuff currently is. Like, I can't name the specific things. I'm pretty sure network engineers who are currently working there can probably do a better job than I can, and probably have done a better job than I can. But there's just a variety of issues preventing full server performance at the second. And
When the hell are we
it's
going to be able to play with more than 50 people on a server?
not for a while. I wouldn't say
Yeah,
not
that's
for
gonna
like more
take a
than
while.
not for more than a year.
That's what I thought within the next 2 years.
Yeah,
Because
maybe
it
2
doesn't
years,
make.
or maybe even longer. I don't know. It's
Oh, damn.
we
he's
were
saying
we're
maybe even
going.
longer.
We're going to know during the SICON. The SICON will give a lot of information about like a general roadmap of the future. Essentially, like laying way into Star Citizen 2.0, or at least
It
Phase
just makes
2.
it really boring only being able to play with 50 people. Hell, there are orgs that's got more than 50 people in it that are active.
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I mean, at
That's
some point,
the issue for me.
it has
It's
to
an
be made
MMO
possible.
and play with 50 people at a time.
Especially
disturbs
if they're able to add some more systems or a system, then it's going to spread people out a little bit thinner as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to see in a couple of years when we
Well.
can play with 60 people on the server.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
I don't have much open mic to say. It was more, I was going to talk about Death of a Spaceman, but I think Hater really covered that off. And, you know, we're going to get a lot of information in 315, and it's going to be big. So, if anything, I'm just excited for CitizenCon, is really my open mic thought. And, yeah, it's the shot of adrenaline I need to keep me going for another year. And
Good
yeah,
way to put it.
yeah, not much else to add. So I think that ends our podcast/vodcast. Thank you, Hater, so much, man, for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen at home, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Click the like button, spool the notification button, quantum drive back to our to the channel. And if you have any feedback or anything, please, guys, just feel free to type it in the comments or even email us at the citizenfeed@gmail.com. Or go to any of our socials on Twitter, Instagram, and we're
Join
also
Discord.
or join the Discord, and we're also on. We've got an audio version of this as well, which is on Spotify. So yeah, go check it out, guys. Thank you all for the support. This has been the Citizen Feed, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.